Hello, Stacy. Hello, Robert. How we all doing today? Have a very difficult lesson today. And I'm going to have to cancel for tonight because there's something came up I can't get out of. Okay, let us wait for the... Yeah, she sure is, isn't she? You practice today. You got to practice every day, Stacy. Stacy, did you get my email? Now remember what I said, I cannot get out of what happens for tonight, so I have to cancel tonight's lesson. Sorry. We'll make it up in time, when I do the regular lessons. Okay, Mike Clark's book. Okay, Mike Clark's book. It's not a difficult book, but it opens up a tremendous amount of doors. And I'm going to wait until the other guys get here, and we're going to go to the symbol patterns. Okay. Hey, ringa bunga. All right. Now, they're not difficult. Some of you are very familiar with this, but I'm going to drive everybody crazy. No problems, huh? Okay, now, let's look at the first line of stick control first. Okay, and remember I said yesterday, eliminate the lefts and just play the rights as the ride pattern. So the first one would be 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, simple. How you doing, Jim? Yeah, we're very early. How you doing, Seth? All right, I'll just wait for, I think, Paul and Hoist and whoever else is going to be here. Anyway, I was just telling everybody we're going to go on. It's a difficult lesson today. So there's some prerequisites you're going to need to do before you approach this. All right? Now, yesterday, we went to the stick control book and I said eliminate all the lefts and just play the rights as the ride pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a problem. Okay, the line 2 now is where we're not going to begin there. We're going to demonstrate with line 1 first, but we're going to go to line 2. And line 2, you're eliminating all the lefts, so you got 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 1. Now, do we all understand that so far, what I just explained, eliminating the lefts from the stick control book and playing all the rights on the ride symbol? Now, the journey will begin from these two patterns. And it's not easy. It's very difficult. And it doesn't happen in one practice session or 5 or 10 or 20. It's something you have to stay with. Now, I haven't been with this for quite some time, so I'm not going to demonstrate it too fast. It's not that I'm unable to play it fast. Now I am, because I'm not. I got to get back to this, and I will. And come Monday, I will smoke on this. Okay. Now, we all understand the concept of the straight ahead, and we took the stick control book, and we referenced off the page. The line, all the rights were the bass drum, all the lefts were the snare drum. Okay? And we played it against the jazz pattern, like 1, 2, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we remember that, like line 3, 2, watch. Do we understand that? We remember that? Yes, of course, swing. We're not doing straight up and down. How you doing, Paul? Okay. So now, we all understand, I've given that lesson a while back. You should have at least the left-hand side of the page down. Can everybody play that against the jazz time like I did? Bass drum, R is all the bass drum, L is all the snare drum. How you doing, old dog? Robert, Jim's got it. How about you, Stacy, old dog, and Paul, and Seth? All right. Well, you should be able to at least play the left-hand side of the page, because if you can play the left-hand side of the page, you could actually play all three of them. Now, we're going to do the first one's going to be pretty easy, because instead of playing just a straight ahead jazz pattern, like 1, 2, we're going to play quarter notes on the ride cymbal, like 1, 2, 3, which some of you have done because you're having a hard time with the jazz pattern. But now, when I'm doing that and when I'm playing that, I'm thinking eighth note triplets. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1. Do we all understand that so far? So you should be able to play that page against the jazz pattern. All the rights to bass drum. Ba 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 ba. We should have no problems with that, correct? Okay, so now, then we're going to, instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to play quarter notes, doing the same concept. R is the bass drum, L is the snare. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those two things you should have down. You don't have to play them fast. Now the work begins. So instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, or the straight ahead jazz pattern, we're going to change the right hand. Now guys, don't fall down and say, oh shit, all right? This is difficult. And like I said before, I could play this, but right now, I got to get back to it for a little bit, and I'll have it smoking come Monday. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the right hand on just the does. 1 and the, 2 and the, 3 and the, 4 and the, while the bass drum plays all the rights and the left hand plays all the lefts. So you're going to have 1 and the, 2 and the, 3 and 4 and the, 1 and the, 2 and 3 and the, 4. Line 2, all right, it would be 1, you have the lane get above the line 2, it would be 1 and the 2 and the 3 and. Now the hardest part about doing that is getting that left foot 2 and 4, because you're used to one way, and this is going to open you up to open-handed a lot stronger, because now you got to shift the brain thought, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and that's not easy. That is difficult. Do we all understand playing the does with the right hand? Okay, the left foot is playing 2 and 4. You're referencing off the page as all the rights equal the bass drum. All the lefts equal the snare drum. That is difficult, okay, because now all of a sudden you go into a part of drumming that you've never been before, so take it real slow. As when you take it slow, what's going to happen is you're strengthening your focus, your concentration, and you can adjust the sound of your voices. The constant sound on the ride cymbal. Turn around stick. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do a lot of stuff, and we might take maybe 4 or 5 of the cymbal patterns that Mike Clark has in his book against the stick control book, and against the triplet fill-ins, and against the alternating triplets. It's very, very difficult. So it doesn't happen in one lesson, nor one sitting of you practicing. It comes real nice when you're consistent with your practicing. If you could only do 5 lines, great. Just do 5 lines over and over again. When you feel really good about that, go to line 6, a different kind of personality altogether. So you have 74 of them, and they're going to drive you crazy. And they might even put you in a Looney Tune bin. That's difficult, Paul. But what that's going to open you up to is playing a open time inside of a melody. You're going to have the experience and control. You're not making any sense right now musically. It's all mathematical and mechanical. So test it out, man. Take it for a test drive. Now, for those who weren't here before, I did mention there's not going to be a lesson this evening because something come up. I just cannot get out of it. So I'm going to make it up sometime next week. And in terms of time, like usually we do a half hour to 45 minutes. I'll give you an hour and a half on one of the lessons. So it makes it up. Yeah, you're repeating the pattern with the right hand. You have the straight ahead jazz pattern. Robert, 1 and the 2 and the 3, which you should already have. You should be able to do at least the left-hand side of the page. Then instead of you're going to just use straight quarter notes. 1 and the 2, 3, 4. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the. Okay? Now the hardest one so far is going to be just playing the does with the right hand. 1 and the 2 and the 3 and the 4 and the 1. It's the first 2 lines you get. Then it gets a little cuckoo. All right? Line 3, 4, 5. And you're going to start to hear a lot of different things in there. And within the next 2 weeks, we are going to start on a melody. I'm going to try to get the melodic structure of a particular tune, and we'll just work on it and work on it and work on it. And you listen to it and listen to it. And where's Dennis? Dennis, you here? Okay, so come Monday when excuse me. How you doing, Horst? So when I come to that, and I perform that a little bit Monday on the does, I will be smoking on it, okay? I just got to get a review of my brain. It's not easy. Hoist, did you just get here or you've been watching? I try to start I'm early usually. I try to start the lesson at 1 as the chat populates. And now I guess I have to repeat what I've done so you can catch it. And I guess that's good because everybody's going to kind of say, okay, Hoist, Guten Tag. Guten Tag means hello, Hoist. It's that German, Paul. Guten Tag. Guten Tag. I haven't heard that in a long time. Hola. Guten Tag. Hello. Ciao. Jimmy, you got it? It's difficult. So I'm throwing it at you. I didn't want to do it today, but I'm doing it. I don't want to discourage you, but man, the work is starting to begin now. Real hard work, real concentration. And you guys have been with me for a while, and you understand where I come from with the focus and the concentration. All right, you just came in. Good day. Guten Tag to you too, Paul. Okay, what we're doing, I'm preparing you guys for those symbol patterns in the Mike Clark book. Okay, and we're going to use well, maybe the first 3 patterns is not in his book, but it's preparing you for it. Okay, now the main ingredient with this is slow. So what we're doing, this is for everybody else too. We're taking, you should already know this, and let me know if you really can play this or not. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have the jazz pattern. The left foot 2 and 4. All the rights with the bass drum, all the lefts with the snare drum. Think of it swung. Line 2. Line 3. Line 5. Now, Hoist, can you play that? Stop doing it and watch, Jim. Then do it after they get that lesson. Hoist, do you understand that concept? Can you do that? Ding dong, ding dong. Waiting for Hoist. Okay, you're playing the jazz pattern straight ahead, utilizing the rights from you're referencing off rather, the stick control, all the rights with the bass drum, all the lefts with the snare drum, swung, okay? The next move after that, so you're gonna try to release it from that straight ahead feel, is you're gonna play 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter notes. Now this is the one that's going to drive you cuckoo, and that's a good, in a good way, of course. It is very challenging, but it's going to really put you in a zone to play an open time within a melody. All right, the last way is we're going to change the right hand. Instead of playing the straight ahead time and quarter notes, we're going to play the right hand on all the does. 1 and da, 2 and da, 3 and da, 4 and da. Against the stick control book, all the rights equal the bass drum, all the lefts equal the snare drum. Against that pattern and the hi-hat 2 and 4. That is difficult. Trust me. Well, what size sticks do you use, Paul? There's nothing wrong with playing match grip, okay, and there's nothing wrong with playing traditional. I play both ways. It just seems that the match grip or French grip or German grip is very popular, well, became very popular when we had the invasion of the English, the British invasion, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, all those guys. And they weren't holding their drumsticks, all right, traditional. And they have control of that drumstick holding it traditional. If you can play matched and you understand the dynamics, well, you have to practice dynamics, Paul. I mean, I could play loud, I could play soft, okay? No problem. It's not a nice touch. I'm blending it. That's all. I don't know what the AJ4 is. Sounds like a marching stick. I'm only kidding. I don't know, Paul. I have these sticks. They were like a innovative percussion. They're out of Tennessee. And they gave me an endorsement for their sticks. And the model on this stick is IP/CR Cool Ride. They have a beaded head, and they feel nice for me. But that's why they have a variety of sticks. The sticks, I mean, if you're going to play 3S's, of course, with the big bead or the big acorn or whatever, it's not going to give you a nice sound. This gives me a sound of it being piano, mezzo forte, and forte, both right and left. Absolutely. Okay, that's all right. If you feel comfortable with that stick, I'm not telling you to change your stick. It's like anything else, man. Sit up straight, or you feel comfortable leaning over. You know, who am I? The thing is, everybody's different. I like these sticks. I used to use the Vader Fusion, but these sticks, they feel fine. And what I like about these sticks, okay, they send me a brick. A brick you have 10 pair in. Now, usually I have to pick out my sticks when I go to a store. Some are warped, some sound different. When I open up the brick, every one of those sticks sounded the same. Every single one of them. Innovative percussion. It's a good place to be. I've had Vic Firth, I had Vader, ProMark, you know, and this stick suits me fine. Okay, now, that is one way to develop the open time. Now, in the stick control book formulas, I don't remember. I was supposed to write an index, but man, I'm sorry I didn't. But you know, the syncopation formulas will have an index and some notation, and some script. All right. Now, if we're taking the stick control book and the syncopation book as well, if we take the stick control book let's do the syncopation book. If we take a figure like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that's straight up and down. Now if I swing it, it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Now instead you hear me counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you want to go to the next level. That next level, you've done enough counting. Somewhere in your brain or when you're playing, there is a counting going on, whether you're aware of it or not. So, there's an exercise I've given, playing eighth notes, and referencing either from the figure and stick control, syncopation, or the stick control. If I did line 1, I'm going to make all the rights as accents. Line 2. Do you guys remember that? It's in the book. Absolutely, Paul. I mean, you can't be blasting your brains out if it's a ballad. Do we understand? Remember that exercise? Do we remember that? Forget about what sticks Robert uses right now. You gentlemen, ladies, people, remember that exercise. I need some response in the chat here. You remember that. How about Robert and Jim and Hoist and Stacy and Old Dog and Jimmy? Okay. Now, when you were doing that, I'm going to try, maybe I get a different sound. Can you hear me better with the snares off? Snares on, snares off. All right, I'll leave the snares on. All right, you guys remember. Now, when you approached it, you approached it mechanically, which is absolutely correct. Now, you're taking the eighth note count, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you're playing wherever there's an accent. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, instead of counting the accent, hum the accent. Bop, 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 bop. Da 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 da. Do we understand that? The messages are not coming in. I don't know why. I don't have it off, but the chat is on. But you see what I just did? Instead of me counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that's the beginning, that's the mechanics. Okay? So now I'm playing dot. I want to accent 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba da 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 da. You see? Now you could do as many as you want from the stick control book. You understand, Seth? From the stick control book or from syncopation. Now approach the rhythms. Don't get too complicated here. You know, remember the eighth notes are going to be short and the quarter notes will be a little bit longer. So you're still in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and somewhere in the brain, I don't know where, man, I'm not a scientist, there is a counting going on. That's the first step. So now you're jumping to the second step. Now you're going to take a melodic approach to the exercises. Bop, 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 ba. Bop, 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 ba. Make all your own exercises. Okay, but you have a variety of them from the stick control book and the syncopation book. And that's starting the approach. We're going to the next level. Instead of just mechanically, mathematically, and technically, we're going to start to, once you have that down, we're going to start to approach the figures as melodically so you could apply them to the music. Technique means nothing unless you could use it musically, or you use it musically. So Seth, Old Dog, Paul, Jim, Robert, Stacy, Hoist, do you guys understand that? Okay. I don't want to overburden you guys. You have a lot of work to do. And Monday, I'm going to try to smoke on that for you guys on the does. And make the 3 comparisons, and we'll see. We'll stay with that for a while. And then we'll go to another figure. Then we'll open up Mr. Mike Clark's book and play melodies against the time patterns. Straight ahead and open. Do we understand that? Any questions? What do you mean you think so? If you're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you're accenting 1, 2, 3, 4. What if you're going 1, 2, 3, and I say hum it. Up, 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 up. What's there to understand? That's it. You got a little lost? Okay. Let me do it again. We're taking one of the exercises, the accent development exercises, and underneath we're playing, we can play triplets, and let's start with the eighth notes, the triplets rather, or no, the eighth notes rather. So we're not swinging this, we're playing it straight up and down, and on the bottom, this is the bottom. No accents. Now the way you've done it, and the way you were taught, mechanically and mathematically, on the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4, you're accenting. And that was to make you familiar with the levels. Down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now the accent is on 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I'm playing this. Instead of me counting 1 and 2, I'm replacing that. Up, 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 up. So I hum the accent. Does that clarify it a little bit? You understand? Hoist, he's going to master it. Who's going to master it? The 5A is a good stick, Robert. Who are you talking about, Stacy? And I got to leave. And I won't be back until Monday. We all understand it. Are there any questions? I won't be back until Monday. Maybe a little bit earlier than 1, okay? So everybody have a nice Thanksgiving. And in the meantime, if there are any questions, just feel free to email me. Okay? Okay, it's better. There you go. We're all on the same page. And I really have to leave. I apologize. And like I said, I can't get out of what I'm doing tonight. Yeah, I'm going to try. You're welcome, Robert. You're welcome there, Paul, and everybody else. Jimmy, put the saxophone down. And also, we're going to get into, you too, Stacy. We're also going to get into ties and slurs. Whole notes, half notes, short notes. You too, old dog. You guys have enough work to do, trust me. Huh. Have a good weekend, Hoist. All right, everybody. See everybody Monday, 1 p.m. Maybe